Hi my darlings, I'm Sophie Darling and welcome back to the channel. Today we are reacting to episode 4 of series 1 of Apothecary Diaries. Episode 3 was so good. We got to see more of the gender dynamics that are coming into play, the way in which women are forced into unhappy marriages, the way that women often choose death in order to escape the fate that society expects or wants of them, that women have to find ways in which to deceive and manipulate in order to live the life that they want, because in this society they don't have a choice. Their choice is dictated by their family, by society in general, and that they lack the power and authority to actually dictate their own future. And we saw at the end of episode 3, we don't know if that's the Emperor that was speaking about wanting to utilize MAOMAO, but there was a new character introduced and we've never seen him before. And the fact that he's alone in the quarters makes me think that he must have some level of privilege to not be seen as a threat to the Emperor. If he's not the Emperor, maybe he's just a high-ranking eunuch, but because he's alone with the concubine, I have a feeling it must be the Emperor. But either way, I am glad that we got to see episode 3 and that there was somewhat of a happy ending. But it was also incredibly sad in terms of knowing that there are so many women that never get to experience that for themselves. However, we are going to get into episode 4.
こんな下賤な食べ物をリファ様に食べさせる気？もっと豪華な食事じゃなきゃリファ様のお口に合わないわよね。こんなものリファ様にお見せすることすらはばかりますわ。できれば水晶宮になんて来たくなかったんだけどな。
Oh!
翡翠宮に皇帝が訪れた夜のこと。
Is she being asked to look in on her to help? Is she gonna become the apothecary for like all the concubines at this point?
毒はございません。
待て。
So it is the Emperor.
帝に初めて
I thought it must be.
噂のクスシ殿に頼みたいことがある。リファ妃の容体が悪い。しばらく見てくれ。
Okay.
見てくれ。
So that's why
それはつまり
she's
直せと
there.
道義だ。帝の言葉は天上の言葉。
But the ladies in waiting are gonna give her a hard time in comparison.
御意、リファ様の次女にとっちゃ玉葉様に仕えている私のことがよっぽど気に入らないんだろうな。
Probably.
掃除が終わったらさっさと出て行ってちょうだい。
Oh my god, they're so rude in comparison. Yokyu's, I'm probably butchering her name. Ladies in waiting are so kind. And Li Hao's are awful. Wonder what's wrong with her. Oh, the makeup.
このお城へか。あれから使用禁止になったんだって。
Oh my god, maybe one of the servants is like still putting it on her without anyone knowing.
こんな小娘に頼むなんてよっぽど高級医官が大
Yeah. Unless he thinks because she's a woman, she'll see more of what's going on than the doctor. Because the doctor didn't even know that the makeup was poisoning the babies. So maybe he just thinks she's more perceptive.
まず体に残った毒を排出する。
But the ladies in waiting aren't going to help, are they? They're just going to see it as too lowly.
これはダメ。こっちもダメで、あとこれとそれとこっちと、あ、そっちもダメで。ここは下賤のものが出入りする。
Oh my god, shut up.
あ
Boing.
先は長そうだな。
They're so rude. She's trying to help.
今度はこれとそれとあれとこれと。何度言ったらわかるの。しかし、まずは消化のしやすいものを食べさせて。そんな貧しいものよりも、まず病人には十分な栄養が必要に決まっているでしょ。
Not if it's too rich. It might upset her stomach.
確かに栄養は豊富だが、胃腸の衰えた病人には重すぎる。
Thank you.
ちょっと考えればわかるだろうに。
Gotta eat simple foods.
リファ様、食事をお持ちいたしまし
Oh
た。
my god, she's
リファ様のお好きなものを
deteriorating.
少しでも
She's wasting away. It's like an echo chamber. They're all
大変、どうしましょう。早く水を。大丈夫ですか？
validating each other
リファ様、
and therefore not allowing Mao Mao to do her job.
あなたみたいな下賤なものがいるから部屋の空気が悪いの。
What?
早く出て行って。
Oh my god, they're angering me so badly. I'd be going to the Emperor and be like, the fuck is
このままじゃ
happening?
近づくこと
She
さ
can't,
え
but
できやし
still.
ないはてさてどうしたもんか
Is Jinshi gonna help? Jinshi's gonna help.
せめて触診だけでも必要ないわあなたのせいでこれ以上悪くなったらどうするの
You're
よ
making things worse, you dumbass.
このままだと衰弱死は確実だ
She's wasting
食事をし
away.
ないと人は死ぬ
She can't keep the food down.
我が子を失ってから生きる気力をなくしているんだろう
I just noticed Jinshi has the same colored eyes as the Emperor. Are they? Could they be related?
何かお困りのようだな。
Like they have that same like
そのように見えますか
redness to their eyes that no one else really seems to have.
ジンシ様とどうして
Jinshi is gonna use his Riz to allow Mao Mao in.
とりあえず中に入ろうか。
ジンシ様
帝の計らいを無下にするのは美しき才女たちには似合いませんよ。
Yes, Jinshi.
そんな無理になんて
You are. You are.
私たちはそんな
Hold them accountable,
でも恐
Jinshi.
ろしいな
I love their dynamic. It's so cute. But I hate that they only respect her because of Jinshi. But I'm glad that he's helping her. She's still wearing makeup. Like she's lipstick and everything on.
おまゆに帰ればいけるか
Somebody's still putting the powder on her
失礼
face.
いたします
So that's why she's deteriorating because the poison's not leaving her body. Oh, she's furious.
妃に化粧をしているのはお前かリファ様には美しくあってほしいもの全部リファ様のためよ当たり前でしょそうか何すんのよあバカに折檻するだけだよ
Mao Mao! Who knew?
そのうち全身に毒が回るだろうよかったなこれでお前も綺麗になれるぞお主体するリファ様
Oh my god, look at the menacing look in her eyes.
なんでこれが禁止されたか
I
わ
love
かってんの
her.
か
You're contributing to her dying. You fucking idiot.
リファ様が喜ぶと思った
She lost her son because of it.
何も考えていない
Why would she be happy?
自分が一番正しいと思って誰が自分のガキ殺した毒を喜ぶんだよさっさと口をゆすいで顔も洗ってこいおいこのままだと病人に触るだろ
Oh, they're gonna respect her now. Yeah. You best.
おお
I bet Jinshi's proud.
女とは本当に珍しいな。
換気を行うと香が薄れ病人特有の匂いがしたあの無能どもは主人の体もまともに拭けないの
They're neglecting her health.
ことあるごとに茶を飲ませた商用の回数を増やし体の毒を排出させる
Oh, her face is filling out more and more.
いえ飲まねばダメですそれも演技でき
She's
るように
actually
な
sitting up
る汁物
now.
とおろした果物を加えたおしろいはリファ様のために隠し置いていたものだったらしい回収し損ねた宦官はムチ打ちの刑になったそうだ
Oh god. Not a fun punishment. It just goes to show having so many ladies in waiting isn't necessarily a good thing when you can't trust them to actually have your interests at heart.
差し入れです。
Are they gifts from the
ありがと
Emperor?
うございます
Or gifts from them?
おお
Oh!
さすが気が利く
困ったことはないか
お
なんだ何でも言ってみろ。
He's in the background like, no,
そちら
don't
の方
encourage
人手が
him.
足りないから誰か頼む。
蒸気風呂ですか。
Oh.
使えるんですかね。
使えるんだろう。
Detoxes the body.
使えるものは何でも使わないと
She's crafty. She got what she wanted. Jinshi is so ride or die for her though. He's like, whatever you want, I'll do it for you. Oh, she just wants to be united with her son, doesn't she?
食事を取らねばいいことです。
Oh, baby. He was so innocent. The grief you must feel as a mother knowing that you could have saved your baby but couldn't. It wasn't her fault. It was one of her ladies in waiting, I presume, the person that knocked the flowers off the ledge. But I don't know which lady in waiting. I don't recognize her here, but it definitely was someone who was in her quarters. They're beginning to follow her direction, though. They respect her a lot more since she put her foot down. Probably because their mistress is recovering so much.
謹慎が解かれ、再びリファ様に仕えることをお許しいただきました。もうあのような過ちは犯しません。決して。交代いたしますので、少しお休みください。
I don't think she intentionally meant to harm her further. I think it was her trying to do her job for her mistress to make her beautiful, but ended up being a fool instead.
少し水をもらえないだろうか。
She seems overjoyed that she's recovering. Yeah, I don't think she meant it maliciously. And she learnt her lesson. And that's why Mao Mao allowed her to serve her mistress, because she knows.
自尊心はあるが、傲慢ではない。東宮のあれこれで嫌なお嬢様を想像していたのだが、実際は妃にふさわしい人格を持っていたようだ。
She was just protective over her child, like any mother would be. And it's so difficult being a woman in this society and being a concubine at that. You would feel like people were targeting your son. Hardly helped matters when her son ended up dying, you know? Oh, that's so sweet. So kind of her.
いくつかの注意点は次女に伝えてありますので。
She doesn't want her to go, does she?
私はもう子はなせないのかしら。わかりません。試してみればよろしいかと。
Give it a go.
寵愛はついえたのに。私は帝の命でここに来ました。
He wouldn't have done that if he didn't care for you.
帝もリファ様のもとにいらっしゃるのではないか。忠告の言葉も聞かず。みすみす我が
It wasn't your fault.
玉葉妃に勝てるのかしら。
It's not a competition, though, is it?
ではないでしょう。世には100、1000の花がありますが、ボタンとキキョウのどちらが美しいかは決めつけるものではないと思います。
You're both beautiful and valued for different things.
他のものがあれば。
You got big boobies.
形は四方です。ちょっと耳を貸していただけますか？ええ。リファ様に伝えたお気土産はかつて遊郭の姉ちゃんたちが教えてくれた。
Oh.
マオマオも覚えておいて損はないわよ。
残念ながらそれに足るような2つの果実は持ち合わせていないし。リファ様に
She's giving sex tips. Oh, Mao Mao, you cheeky thing. Oh, the show, I love it. It's amazing.
マオマオ大丈夫？そんなにやつれて。
よっぽど大変だったのね。
帝の
Oh.
勅命を一人でやり遂げるとはなかなかのものだな。
I love how they all treat her like she's
その後
family.
水宮への帝のお通りが極端に減った時期があった。
やっと睡眠不足から解放されるわ。ははは。
マオマオが目を泳がせたのはまた別の話で
Sleep
ある。
deprivation because the Empress decided to stop only visiting you. Oh, wow. What the fuck?
呪いだ。
Okay. Interesting. But yeah, there was no malicious intent. It was her wanting to make her mistress beautiful, and she thought that was what her mistress wanted. But alas, it was contributing to her decline. Li Hao still feels the guilt for her son's death. She thinks if she hadn't ignored the advice from her fellow concubine, then her son could have been saved. But who was she to really know that it was useful? That's the thing. In this society, women are forced to become competitors for the affection of the emperor, for status. Of course, they're going to see someone who also is sleeping with the emperor, who's also having children with the emperor, as a potential threat to their position, especially someone who is seen as favored and who is beautiful. You would compare yourself to the point that you would see it as losing if your child died and hers survived. If he stopped visiting you to go visit her, you would think, I have done something to disappoint him. I am the reason. It's incredibly sad because that's what they've been forced into. They've been forced to see each other as the enemy rather than as comrades in this already contentious world. And it's just really sad because it's not their fault. They don't want to be that way. They're forced to be that way. They're forced to see each other as the enemy. See, Li Hao sees Gyokyu as the enemy, but Gyokyu doesn't see Li Hao as the enemy because she tried to help her. She wanted her son to be okay because she doesn't see it as a competition. She doesn't see the prince as a threat to her daughter. She wants them to be united, but Li Hao is insecure in her position, and I imagine that paranoia only becomes more extreme when you have a son and your perceived competitor has a daughter. You would think that they were out to ensure that your son didn't live so that they could eventually give the emperor a son that would be more favored because your son passed away, your son died. And she blames herself for his death because obviously she ignored the advice, but she would have received the advice directly from Mao Mao if somebody hadn't thrown the flowers off at the windowsill. And the more I think about it, without going back to the first episode, I think it could have been a lady in waiting. I don't know for sure, but the clothes were regal enough that she could be someone in that household. But from the ladies in waiting that we saw, I didn't recognize her as being amongst them. So it could be maybe a lady in waiting that we haven't seen because I think she has like over 10. And we definitely didn't see all 10 in this episode. But I'm glad that she's recovered. I'm glad that she still has the will to live because even though she feels guilt for the loss of her son and she wants to be with her son, she still has the will to live because she knows that it wouldn't benefit her son for her to die. She could go on and have other children. Of course, she will never forget the life that she gave birth to. She will never forget him, but she clearly doesn't want to die and leave the emperor's side if she's still willing to eat and push forward and cling on to anything that will give her sustenance. But it's still funny that Mao's like, oh yeah, I got these tips from the brothel and I don't have the assets, but you might have the assets to please him. And I think the indication at the end was Gyokyu basically being like, oh yeah, I no longer have to suffer the sleep deprivation because the emperor can now turn his attentions to Li Hao and I can get a good night's sleep because I no longer have to suffer his advances. I can get some rest because there's another person satisfying the emperor now, not just me, because she is recovered and using her assets to entice him. But she thinks the emperor doesn't like her, but the emperor wouldn't have asked Mao Mao to do all this if he didn't care for her. And also, as Mao was saying, it's not a competition. You're both valued by him for different things. Just because you have a different appearance to Gyokyu doesn't mean that you're any less beautiful. Doesn't mean that he doesn't value you for other assets, as she pointed out with her boobs. But also the fact that she made the comparison between the peony and the bellflower. The bellflower is purple, like Li Hao's hair, and the peony is pink, like Gyokyu. So both are beautiful flowers, but who is to decide which is more beautiful than the other? Both have value and significance, and both are beautiful for their own reasons. And that's what she's trying to say. It's not a competition, it's not a comparison. The emperor chose you amongst thousands of flowers to serve him, and he did so for a reason. He could have had anybody, and yet you two are the ones that he selected, and you two are the ones that he visits. So if he didn't value you and find beauty in you, you wouldn't be in this position. I love how Mao Mao was like, how quickly women change, because they begin to fawn over Jinshi, and then they listen to Jinshi and allow Mao Mao to actually serve Li Hao. But it's funny that then Jinshi then repeats the same dialogue, because she switches from being like really calm and collected to savage, letting out that rage and anger because they've put Li Hao in danger after being told that this powder needed to be gotten rid of, it needed to be banished because it was poisonous. It had contributed to the death of the prince and the illness of the princess. So why would you continue to use it? Why would you keep it around? So I can understand her frustration and her rage, but it's just the duality of the women in the show in terms of the ladies in waiting are fawning over Jinshi. They've gone from being really cold and angry and volatile to Mao Mao, and then fawning over Jinshi to the extent that they'll allow Mao Mao in. But then Mao Mao in reverse is cool, calm, collected, becoming vengeful and wrathful in the face of incompetency and idiocy. And yeah, I love that Jinshi is like, tell me whatever you want and I'll do it for you. She's like, steam bath. She's like, I'll take advantage. Build me a steam bath because it will be beneficial to Lady Lihawa because it'll detoxify the body. But it's so funny that he is just such a lover boy for her, and she is so unaffected by his attentions. It's hilarious. She's just like, nah, like, please leave me alone. And he is besotted with her. And I just find that absolutely amusing. It's so interesting to have a show dynamic where, like, the main female character isn't head over heels with an attractive male character, that there is like a little bit of tension between them, but he's an absolute lover boy for her. I find that so much more interesting than them just being head over heels for each other. I think it's a lot more entertaining to watch. But yeah, this was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed this episode. And I think Jinshi must be related to the Emperor somehow, because they both have the same colored eyes. So I'm beginning to think, because they're the only two with sort of those unique color, that they have to be related somehow. I'm not sure yet, but Jinshi is also tasked by the emperor to be here to test the loyalty of the concubines and the ladies in waiting to ensure that they're all following orders. He's like the head eunuch. So he obviously is respected quite highly by the emperor, and he's also in quite a position of privilege, because Fuyu in episode 3, I think Jinshi was involved in the arrangement of her marriage to the military officer, because he seemed really happy that it had gone ahead and pleased that she was leaving the palace, as if he helped secure that match because he knew it was what she wanted. But he wouldn't be able to do that without some level of privilege and power. But I think he has to be related to the emperor. The eyes we only see in the young prince that's born to Lahawa, the emperor, and Jinshi. I'm not so sure about is it Xiaoling? Gyokyu's daughter. We have probably seen her eyes, but I can't remember what they look like. I don't know if they look like her mother's, but the prince has the same eyes as the emperor, and so does Jinshi. So I think there has to be like a familial connection between the three of them. Obviously, the prince is the emperor's son, but I'm not sure about the connection between the emperor and Jinshi. But it's just kind of odd that they're the three with those eye colors. So it must be like a familial link between the emperor and Jinshi. Who knows? We'll see as the show progresses. It likes to keep things under wrap, and we'll see in the next episode as to what this curse is, this rash that's developed. I wonder if it'll link back to Mao's little experiment on her arm, where she had like a little rash on her arm because she was testing like different things. I wonder if it's not a curse, but maybe like an allergic reaction or like eczema or something, because Mao was doing like little tests on her skin. So I wonder if it's going to link back to that. But either way, an amazing episode. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next time, bye!